You'll be swell, you'll be great, gonna have the world on your plate. Starting here, starting now, honey, everything's coming up. Vecna, hello and welcome. I thought I was recording this at noon, but for the past 18 minutes, I've just been talking to myself because it wasn't on. So we're starting over. We are continuing our deep dive into the Doomed Forgotten Realms timeline, as written by Scott McClintock, available on DM's Guild. This is the adventure path that Scott wrote back in 2022. Predicates on the idea that what if every adventure happened, but the player characters lost, or even worse, weren't there, you know? So from all the way back to Fendelver, all the way to Tomb of Annihilation and Rime of the Frost Maiden, he wrote this amazing adventure. And I love everything about this adventure, because that's one thing that's never explored, really, is what kind of effect this adventure has on the world after the adventure's over. I mean, what happened? How is the world after Storm King's Thunder? How is the world after the Cult of the Dragon adventures? What does the world look like after the Tomb of Annihilation? Whether they succeed or failed, it leaves scars, and you never really explore that. Well, Scott did. He looked at these modules and then he ran them in his head and he said, what happened if they lost? And that gives us the Doomed Forgotten Realms, the doomed timeline that we thought we were going to get, but we don't know. It doesn't look like we're going to get it. I don't know what to expect from Vecna Eve of Ruin based upon the table of contents and the videos that they've made. I doubt it's going to be half as awesome as this module, because I think they're just trying too hard to shoot too much in, and we already know Vecna loses. This assumes Vecna won. So we're going to look at the Gazetteer. The Gazetteer, sort of like a coming attractions, like the overview, the outline. This gives us a little hint of everything we know before we go into the actual adventures that Scott wrote in the Doomed Forgotten Realm timeline. So 71 pages. Gives us an overview of what it's like living in the Doom Sword Coast again, you know, Vecna's Doom land. We've got the timeline that I went through previously. We've got some talk about Vecna's plans and how he got there and how he's planning on maintaining his control and what he has planned for the future. Then we've got the history of events written from a first-person point of view by Volo. Got some maps. We've got some factions that you can join, some factions that might be friends, they might be enemies, they just might be dudes trying to survive in this brand new world. The first is the sea-based Dro, started by Draxel and some of the other one. These are opportunistic Dros who have taken to the ocean of the surface world, who remember the Underdark as it used to be before the Wizards of the Coast transitions and before the demons took it over. And they're basically pirates / merchants / just Dro, off being Dro, traveling the ocean, because no place is safer from the sunlight than being out on the ocean. Yeah, it's just the safest place in the world if you're a race of people who are prone to being sensitive to bright sunlight. No, the ocean. Yep. Okay. Yeah, sure, it doesn't make sense, but Dro doesn't make sense. Dro, what isn't awesome about Draxel and Dro Pirates? Then we have the Cult of the Dragon. I love these guys. Cult of the Dragon is Cobra from the G.I. Joe cartoon if they were in D&D. Okay, that's who they are. That's who, if you read the early stuff on them, that's how they should be played. And this assumes, of course, Tiamat won. She got free. She's assumed her place in the Forgotten Realms. She's got control of the cult. She's got control of all the dragons. She's you know, a legitimate threat to Vecna. She isn't helping Vecna, but she's not standing in his way either. You know, she's not hindering him, but she's not helping him. Excuse me. Right now, she's just coalescing her power and trying to get the Cult of the Dragon to work and gaining control of the dragons, subjugating the good dragons, making sure there's no threats to her, like from the giants or whatever else. gobbling up any other evil dragons that might question her rulership and basically just being Tiamat. But eventually, you're going to have Tiamat versus Vecna. It's got to happen. You can't have the world with both of them sharing it. Plus, it's Cobra, and that is how you should run the Cult of Dragon. Then we got Cult of the Elemental Eye, of course, an homage to Temple of Elemental Evil, one of the oldest, most iconic, most classic Dungeons and Dragons adventures. Temple of Elemental Evil, revisited through Elemental Princes of the Elemental Adventure. This one assumes it happened, that Tharizdun has reached his pinnacle of being the new Lord of the Elements and created this elemental plane, primal place on Earth, completely eradicating an entire chunk of land and replacing it with this sort of soup of all the elemental planes together to form this one new primordial place of earth, air, fire, water, all the para elementals, chocolate chip cookie elementals, whatever. So, and Tharizdun's out. He's free. He's free to do whatever he wants. He's still on the world. His elemental princes are still on the here. He's like, hey, I succeeded. Is he going to help Vecna out now that Vecna's taken over? Is he going to stand in Vecna's way? Is he going to, just be Tharizdun and just be crazy and do weird stuff that makes no sense? Don't know, but he's got his own faction. He's definitely in a position of power for the first time ever. Then we've got Vecnas Alliance. These are all the guys who are currently aligned with Vecna. We've got a Sarasak, who has proven to be Vecna's most loyal servant. Yes, I know that Vecna used to be just Greyhawk only, and a Sarasak is a Sarasak. But now this one assumes that they're both in the Forgotten Realms, and they were actually working together this whole time, right? I would think they'd be working against each other because their motivations are so completely different, right? Vecna's motivation is control people, control power, control the universe through secrets. A Sarasak is this wacko mad scientist who just builds things because he can. And then he just sort of sets them loose to see what happens. You didn't care if he succeeded or failed with the Tomb of Annihilation Soulmonger thing. He just wanted to see what happens. It talks about his motivation in the module. Well, this one says, nope, all this time, whether he knew it or not, he was working for Vecna, and he's now Vecna's, at least temporarily, most powerful commander. He's Vecna is Skeletor. A Sarasak is Evil Win. But I'm sure if being a Sarasak, he's looking for the first chance to either bail or betray him. Then we've got the Arcane Brotherhood, who are a bunch of evil wizards from around the world. We've got the remaining liches, who are, still after somehow managed to survive the death curse. And they're like, who are we going to be loyal to? Oh, hey, look, it's Vecna. We've got the Twisted Ruin, who's another group of liches in Kalmashur. We've got the Kingdom of Many Arrows, which is a group of orcs that are trying to kill or subjugate dwarves. We've got the UNT, because who knows why the UNT would sign with Vecna. He made them some promises, snakes, and we're going to sign up with this undead wizard dude who can't seem to find his hand. Whatever. We'll hang out with him for now. So they could probably, possibly betray him later on. And then, of course, we've got the Red Wizards of Thay. My all-time favorite D&D bad guys. And how does Zast Tam look upon the world that he has fought so hard to try and control, and his organized machine that is Thay, and suddenly Vecna rises up. The death curse has happened. Zast Tam has either completely lost his powers or is totally destroyed. The Red Wizards of Thay are now loyal, at least on the surface, to Vecna. Is this Zast Tam's chance to come back as a face? Can you just imagine the music playing after not seeing Zast Tams for a couple years? I am a real Thavian. Fight for the might of Zast Tam. Fight for the might. fight for what's right. And then, Zast Tam comes coming out like Hulk Hogan. Oh, yeah, all my Maniacs and Zast Tam, and I'm back. Yeah, man, I would totally run it like that. I know it would be silly and ridiculous, but Zast Tam is silly and ridiculous. And I love the Red Wizards of Thay. And yeah, I would totally have him come back as a face. Like the last person you expect to come back and save the Forgotten Realms from Vecna, Zast Tam, singing the song. So there's another faction you can join. Then we've got Zarel's Legion. This is a group of people who are trying to stop the demons from winning the Blood War. So the Blood Wars have happened. They were not stopped, so that's the major plot of Out of the Abyss and Avernus and a few other adventures. Right now, we have this ongoing war between demons and devils, and the devils don't want the demons to win. Zarel, being a fallen angel who is now an Archduke of Hell, has united a bunch of groups of people who are similarly inclined to be lawful evil, to make sure the heaven and hell work the way they're supposed to, and to stop the ever-present swarm of the chaos of demons. So you've got evil fighting evil in this non-stop blood war. But now, thanks to Vecna, it's happening on the Forgotten Realms as well. So how do you deal with that? You got everything else going on, and now you got demons and devils engaged in this gang war. Where do you side? Do you side with chaotic evil? Do you side with lawful evil? Do you side against them? And then we have the Zentrum. How does the Zentrum respond? How does Monsoon and his boys, his basically, the Black Network of the Zentrum, how do they think? How do they respond to this? Do they join up? Do they, keep doing what they're doing? Do they fight against? Well, the Zentrum keep doing what they're doing. They're a Black Network of spies, elite soldiers, and assassins. And now they have got a ripe new chessboard to play on. The Forgotten Realms is ripe for their line of work. We could have the Zentrum be private security. You could have them going and assassinating members. You can have them being the elite soldiers to align with or fight against. They're going to take money. They're the Black Network. Then we have the locations and how they've changed, including some new locations that weren't there before. Neverwinter, now being known as Evernight, completely overrun by undead. So this long-standing bastion of good, Neverwinter, now a city that's completely overrun by the undead and pretty much a portal to Ravenloft. We've got Heldor's Gate, formerly known as Baldur's Gate. Avernus / a Paladin in Hell happens. Okay? But the heroes don't win. Avernus has consumed Baldur's Gate and turned Baldur's Gate into this steaming cesspool of hell on earth. The population is all fiends and fiend friends and just hellishness, helly stuff. Baldur's Gate, what an important town that is to the Forgotten Realms. Is now just basically Las Vegas, but worse. It's hell on earth. Icewind Dale has been taken over by ice giants. Rime of the Frost Maiden has happened. The ice giants won. She won. Icewind Dale is now just in a state of permanent winter. Ice giants are all Duragard. Everything was just running over. All the good guys that used to live in Icewind Dale, Drizzt, those dudes, gone. It's all giants as far as the eye can see. I'm not even going to try and pronounce this world. It's the Dro Navy. We talked about this before, that the Dro who have fled the destruction of the Underdark have taken to the ocean, and they've become this sort of huge nomadic seafaring people, both in the vast oceans of the Underdark and the vast oceans of, I can make fun of it, but they probably just travel at night, or, during the day they have their humans flay the boat. And it's not like the sunlight thing is just devastating. It's not like they take damage from sunlight. It's like what, -1 or disadvantage now in sunlight. I'm sure they've got sunglasses and a sunscreen by now, right? And the idea of just a whole, all the remaining Dro on boats, because it's just, you just don't see Dro on boats. It's just not a connection you make. But then you're like, yeah, they're flamboyant. They'd make great pirates. They make no sense. They're ridiculous. They're evil. They worship a spider. They're all about flamboyance and presence and decadence and just being as chaotically evil and ridiculous as you can. I could totally see them. And plus, I like the idea of all the boats combining to make, the city and then falling apart to going their separate ways, like those scenes in Immortal Engine when all the vehicles come together. Yeah, that's just cool. And then we've got the Soaring Citadel of the Dragon Queen, which is where Tiamat is hanging out, and formerly known as the Well of Dragons. Again, we already went over this. Tiamat 1, her cults 1. She's accumulating her forces. She's getting rid of the good dragons or subjugating them. She's getting rid of all her old enemies, everybody who ever screwed her over. But in the past, she's giants, other dragons, human adventurers, that Orcus dude, whoever, and now it's going to be, eventually, again, it's going to be Vecna / Venger versus Tiamat. It's going to come down to the two of them. We've got the Throne of Primordial Unity, which again is about the cult of the Elder Elemental, It's a city that used to be Dresden Valley. We talked about this. This is the area that Thresadune and the Elemental Princes took over and turned into this brand new, just primordial thing. But it's unlike the other ones. I mean, there's genies there too. So it's not all just bad guys, There's some good guys there. Waterdeep. Somehow Waterdeep is still standing. And still offering a home for adventurers. But yes, now the Council of Waterdeep has been taken over by evil dudes and whatever. But it's Waterdeep. And for some reason, of all the towns, this is the one that's remained standing. But even Waterdeep is not without changes. Because if you remember in the story, Hallister Blackcloak, upon seeing what was happening to the Forgotten Realms, decided to just take all of Undermountain and fail. So imagine what happens to everything that's built on top of Undermountain when all that infrastructure that is Undermountain, those multiple layers of dungeons and tunnels and a spaceport and everything else, everything that's built on top of that whole infrastructure and the sewers and everything, Yawning Portal, gone. Just literally ripped out of the earth, gone. And suddenly your city is built upon a pizza crust. So yeah, Waterdeep did not emerge unscathed. I'm sure it looks like San Francisco after the earthquake. But the people in Waterdeep are strong. And we got some minor locations. Candle Keep, taken over by evil wizards. Yes. Chult, taken over by a Sarasak. Dwarf Holds of the North, holding on but doing badly. Other places like Silvermoon, Luskan, the same thing. There's a few bastions holding out. The Sword Coast Islands. But mostly the world is pretty much just screwed. Then we finally have the campaign hooks. How do you get a group of heroes to look upon this earth and go, yeah, we can fix this? Or more likely, yeah, how can we turn this into our advantage and profit off of it? So we've got a couple adventure hooks. We've got some new options for 5e. We've got some other things. Just some general information and some relationships and some character building stuff. New background changes to backgrounds. And there you go. That is the entire Gazetteer. 20 minutes of me talking through that. I hope you appreciated it. Doesn't it make you want to play through this? Doesn't it make you want to just step out of your home in Shadowdale and look across the post-apocalypse Forgotten Realms and go, it's Mad Max Forgotten Realms, man. What a chaotic, crazy, gonzo, fucked up place. Let's go. As opposed to with reading through the Vecna thing, and it's like, okay, we know the player characters are somehow tied to it. They start out at 10th level. Here's the breakdown of every place they have to go to beat Vecna from getting the Rod of 7 Parts. Oh, look, it's Kos. Oh, look, it's a Sarasek. We end up with the final encounter with Vecna, which we win. Yay. Now, I mean, I will look through it once it's finished. It could be good. I don't know. It could be good, or at least have potential to be good. There could be some kernels of, hey, in there. I mean, you know, Storm King's Thunder has kernels of awesomeness in it. The Fendelver modules are brilliant. Tomb of Annihilation, pound for pound, is the best, most D&D adventure that Wizards of the Coast made. So it could be okay. And the fact that the creator pretty much tells us the entire plot makes us go, okay, there's some maybe good ideas on here, but I think you're trying to shove too much into this one little book. Had you spread it out across the entire year as an adventure path, like what Pathfinder does, it probably would have gone over better, and you probably could have made more money off of it. But I think just it's too much, and you've already told us everything. There's no surprises. So we already know what to expect. It's like opening up my present, looking at my present, closing my present, putting it back under the Christmas tree, then waking up in the morning and going, oh, wow, look what's in this box, a sweater. This just sounds more awesome to me. All right, so we're going to keep doing this for as long as you guys want me to. Tomorrow we'll go through the next one. Scott McClintock's take on Strixhaven. Yeah, the Academy of Magic. Till then, if you appreciate this content, let me know. If you don't appreciate this content, let me know. If you never want to hear me talk about this ever again, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, Joshua and John, then please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget, I have merch available on DriveThru. Link down below. Thank you again, Scott McClintock, if you're out there, for sending these to me a couple years ago. Maybe, I don't know, Scott, you want to let me interview you again about this? That'd be awesome. Till next time. Oh, Vecna, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey,